What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today is the big one. Today I'm going to talk about how to effectively run Facebook ads. Now, the results that successful Facebook ad campaigns can have in your business is tremendous. You're learning a skill that allows you to spend £1 and generate 2, 3, or 4. And if you can do that effectively, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to be able to blow businesses up. I've literally done this for some of my own companies, and the results have been incredible. I've made millions of pounds off of strategies that I'm going to be discussing here about how to effectively run ads. Now, the thing to remember, and probably why you're at this video, is that Facebook ads is a minefield. There's so much different things to think about. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the 80%, the main things that I look at when I'm running a Facebook ad campaign. I'm going to walk you through the setup of a campaign, and at the very end, I'm going to show you the most important thing to keep in mind and to really focus on when you're honing in your ads. So I hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like videos like this, and let's go for it. Okay, so the first thing to keep in mind is that you should not be boosting posts. This is an absolute no-no, and the reason for this is Facebook will typically give people who boost posts the more rubbish traffic, okay? The traffic of people who are not the most targeted, and it's not going to be the best people. The results time and time again of people who boost posts as compared to those who get a business manager, which I'll talk about in a second, is tremendous. You get a lot more options for the same amount of money that you're spending by using a business manager. So you can sign up for a business manager by going to business.facebook.com. You can use your Facebook ad account, and you can create a company. When you create a company, there's a couple of things that you're going to make within that business manager. The first thing that you're going to create is an ad account, and effectively this is the tool that you use to run the actual ads, okay? This is the most important part to have in your business manager. The second thing you're going to set up is a Facebook pixel. Okay, and the Facebook pixel is a piece of code that you're going to install on your website, which is going to allow Facebook to track the conversions and the clicks that you send through to the website that you're trying to push traffic to. And the third thing that you're going to create, if you haven't already, or you're going to hook up your business manager with, is your Facebook page, okay? So these are the three things that you need to do. I'm not going to dive into setting these up. There's tons of videos online about that, but you're going to want to get a business manager with all of these three things to move on to the next step. Okay, so the next thing to understand is the structure of an ad account. Once you have your page, your pixel, and the ad account ready, you're going to dive into your ad account, and we're going to look at a live one in a second. But I need you to understand the main overall structure and what everything means. So the first thing is your campaign, and the campaign is effectively the main folder for whatever you're trying to advertise. So let's say, for example, you're running a campaign to push more traffic to your websites to get leads. Okay, you would create a new campaign for that, and that campaign would usually target some kind of goal, and we'll talk about goals in a second. The next thing is an ad set, and an ad set is effectively the targeting that you can put within a campaign. You can have multiple different ad sets inside one campaign, and those ad sets can target different audiences and different people, and you can optimize the Facebook campaign to pick the best performing ad set for you. Now, the reason why this is so useful is that you can come in and target lots of different things, and Facebook will run its magic to actually find the ad set, i.e. the targeted audiences that you're targeting on Facebook, and it will pick the best ones for you. And then within all of the ad sets, you have ads, and these are the pieces of video or text or writing or images that you're going to actually put out into the Facebook world and onto the Facebook platforms, and that is effectively what the users are going to see. And again, you can have multiple ads inside different ad sets. We'll talk about how many you should be building in a second, but this is the overall structure and how a Facebook ad account actually works. So once you have your ad account set up, this is what it should look like right here. And this is basically the dashboard where you can check the performance of different ads that you run. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the green create button here, and you're going to be asked to choose an objective. Now, there's 4 main objectives that I have used in the past, and that are really the main ones that I would recommend for anyone that has a business to just focus really on these ones. There are room to do the other ones. If you have an app, for example, that you're trying to sell, you might use the app downloads goal. But in this example, these are the ones that I've actually used, and 99% of people that are watching this are probably going to use. So traffic is one of them. Traffic I'm typically going to use if I have some social media content, or something that I'm just trying to promote, where I'm trying to get viewers, where I'm trying to get interested people who might want to view that content, it's not typically something that I'll use to get a direct return on my money, because Facebook is going to target people who click on things but don't necessarily convert. The next one is lead generation, and this is a really good one for local businesses. I really like this one. Effectively, what you can use with this is you don't even need to send traffic directly to your website. You can use Facebook's lead forms. And just to show you what the Facebook lead forms look like, effectively you'll have an ad on Facebook, and then you can click a button and a form inside native to Facebook will actually pop up and will be shown to the user where they can fill out, any different form items that you have. So that's a really great one for local businesses. The next one is messages, which is a similar one. It's going to push people to actually message you in Messenger. Messages is a good one. I've not used it often, but for local lead generation, messages can be quite a good one to test out as well. And then the main one, the one that I use for 99% of all of my campaigns, is conversions. Okay, the great thing about conversions is that you can basically tell people you're looking for people that are going to convert, who are going to come to my website and convert, and that goal that you want them to convert on is going to be for leads or for sales or for whatever it is you're trying to run your Facebook ads for. Ultimately, conversion traffic is the best type of traffic that we want to target in most cases, because we want people to convert. We want them to become a customer. They want them to become a lead. We want an action to be taken, and that's what we're going to be tracking the results of in Facebook. When we're in here and we have conversion tracking turned on, for example, it would be a cost per result, but we would be looking at cost per lead and the number of leads that we maybe got from that campaign, and that's going to allow us to test and measure how well that campaign is actually done for our business. Again, all of that is only possible if you actually set up the Facebook pixel as I described earlier on. So the next stage of running your Facebook ads is to set up ad set targeting. And this is probably the bit that most people get hung up on. So once you've created your campaign, you picked your goal, you're going to come into this section here, and this is creating the ad set. Now, basically what you're going to do is you're going to come down, and the first thing you're going to pick is your location. Only you can decide that, where you're actually targeting, where you're best to target. It's totally up to you. The next thing is to pick an age group. And typically speaking, the first lesson that I say to people is to make sure that your audiences are not too big or too small. And this also falls down to picking an age group, okay? So what you want to make sure is that you don't come in and specify, 3 ages that you want. You want to keep it as broad and as open as possible. If your product can, target lots of ages, I would allow Facebook to target all of the ages. If your product can target multiple genders, target multiple genders. Really let Facebook have the space, because what you'll understand is that Facebook's AI, its ability to find you customers, is really, really good, and you don't want to restrict that too much by picking an age group that's too tight. The next thing is detailed targeting, and again, back to my point, making sure your audiences are not too big or too small. This is a really, really important lesson. You really want to make sure that your audience size, I would say, is no smaller than about 50K. Okay, and it can go up to a couple of million, okay, so 1 to 2 million. Now, it really depends, again, on how much money you're spending on Facebook ads, what budgets you're putting into things, but in most cases, you don't want to restrict it by making the audiences too small that you test, and you don't want to make it too big. So I wouldn't go in and target the whole of the United States or the whole of the United Kingdom just like that. It's a bit too much for Facebook to actually find the customers. And if you're selling a more detailed product, you're going to use more detailed targeting to actually help Facebook figure out those people. If you're selling a mass market product, however, you're generally going to want to use broader audiences. And when I'm running a property company here in Scotland, we actually ran a campaign for Scotland broad. So we didn't even put in detailed targeting by picking audiences inside Facebook. We literally just ran a broad Scotland campaign. So by detailed targeting, I mean you can come in here and type on, for example, Elon Musk, and anyone who's interested in Elon Musk will come up here. I don't know why it's not coming up. Elon Musk. There we go. So you'll see that audience size here, and I can select that, and it will actually narrow down the size of the audience based on the different targeting and the different groups of people that Facebook thinks are interested in that specific audience. The next lesson is not really to get too hung up on matching up your targeting. So when I first started, I was selling clothing on Facebook, and I used to come in and try to find the exact words, like it was keywords, to the clothing that I was trying to sell, and that's not really the way to think about it. The way you need to understand it is that there's people that would buy your products that could be in an audience that's nothing to do with the product. So for example, if my product is I'm selling gold, people who are interested in investing, for example, or people who are interested in metals might be interested in the gold thing that I'm offering. So there's different audiences that aren't directly corresponding to the actual product, and you just need to try and use your brain a bit and think of audiences that would perhaps have those kinds of people in them. And remember this whole time with Lesson 3 that the AI does most of the work. Don't overthink this. Don't get too hung up on targeting. There's not some rocket science thing to it. Usually you just want to compare apples with apples. There'll be audiences that you'll be able to pick that will be related to your product or service. And you can just go in, pick those, pick the right places, trying to make sure that you've not got, 10 million people in that audience. Try and narrow it down a little bit more by using some of the stuff in Facebook. And that is really more than enough that Facebook can use to actually target those people. So at the start of the video, I spoke about the most important thing to remember when you're running Facebook ads, and that actually comes down to the ads that you create and test. And your goal with any new campaign, in my opinion, in a new ad set, you want to be running at least 3 different new ads, sometimes even as much as 5 different ads in that ad set to actually give Facebook the room to test and try to find the best ones. Now, copywriting and the way that you construct the ad is probably the most important thing, because ultimately that's what the end user is going to see. And Facebook's AI is only good enough to find the right people for that ad, but if the ad itself sucks, people won't respond to it and you're not going to get results. So that if there's one thing that I would tell you to focus on, it's on learning about copywriting. It's on creating great ads, because the ads are what is going to get you the results. Okay, so my little message here is your ability to write copy that inspires and targets new customers in your market is the most important thing when running Facebook ads. Okay, time and time again, I've not focused on targeting. I'm not focused on campaigns and things like this. I've ticked the boxes for the things that I mentioned earlier, but when it comes to all the little settings, it's really never mattered when I've just created amazing ads, ran them into Facebook Ads Manager, and the time and time again, they have worked. Now, when it comes to creating ads, there's tons of other videos online. I think it's a topic that I'm going to cover on some later content. But what I will say to you is that a good video will always outperform an image in most cases, but a bad video will be a disaster. So, if you're brand new to Facebook ads, you want to be looking at what other people are actually running for their ads. You can use a tool called the Facebook Ads Library to actually type in your competitors in here, and you'll actually see a list of the ads that they're running. You're going to want to see if they're running images, videos, what type of copy is it they're actually targeting, and what kind of website is it they're sending their users to. That gives you a good place to start out to actually see what type of content users are responding to for them, so that you can work out what you should do for yourself. And you want to be testing lots and lots of different ads. That's why I'm saying when you're creating your ads inside an ad set, like I recommend at least 3, sometimes even as much as 5, because you want to give Facebook room to test different ads, and it will pick the best ones. And typically speaking, it will run the budget that you put on that campaign to the right ads, the ones that actually people are responding to, the ones that are ultimately getting you the results. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope it's giving you some great insights and a good starting place to look at when you're running Facebook ad campaigns. If you haven't already, please make sure you like this video and subscribe. If you have any questions about anything I went over here, if you have any other questions about Facebook ads, just leave a comment. I'll be sure to check them for the next week or two to see if anyone has any questions about this, and I'll be happy to give my insight. And if there's any topics that come up a couple of times, I'll probably shoot a video on that too. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, make sure you subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.